I'm actually so excited that we have finally hit what feels like spring. I want to do a spring refresh on our front door. I wouldn't say that I am like a crafty person. I have to actually pick up this skill. Rosie's birthday, because that is also coming up really soon, that it looks like it was handmade by mom with love. Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to the vlog. It is currently a Monday morning and I actually have a babysitter right now because I had an appointment to run to this morning. I actually went to come and see my pelvic PT, and it has been a very long time since I have done that, but you guys know I have been on my journey of just trying to be like fully healed and fully recovered from having the 3 babies back to back, and coming to my pelvic PT is something that I have not done in a long time. I don't think that I have been to see her since I had Jude, so he's like coming up on 3 years old. Like he's 2.5, so I was due for a visit today, especially having had another baby and all of that. And I honestly, like pelvic floor wise, have not really had anything pressing, anything urgent since having Rosie, and I've been so grateful for that. Like no pain, no heaviness, nothing off base. The thing that I did want to check up on today was actually my core and diastasis recti specifically. Basically, for anyone that has not had a baby before, I'm sure a lot of us are aware of this to some degree, but like when you are pregnant, your abs separate from each other. And so to make space for the baby, to make space for all the shifting of the organs, there's some separation that happens. And it's very important that postpartum, you work to kind of bring all of that back together again, because the core is obviously the stabilizer for so much of your body, your lower back, your glutes, like everything that you do is impacted by the functionality of your core. And I just have no idea, or had no idea, where my core was at before today. I have been working out pretty consistently post baby number 3, the most consistently than I have like since having kids. And so I felt good about that, but I just still don't even really know where I'm at. And I think the thing that drove me to be like, I just want to go and see the pelvic PT is that I have not seen a lot of like visual improvement. And it's not like I'm looking for a 6-pack here, but I do want to know that my abs are back together and to know like, what should I be doing? Am I doing something wrong? Like, what do we do to actually see this kind of improve so that I know that I'm making progress and I'm on the right track? So went to see the pelvic PT. The bright side of all of this and the great news, my abs have come back together. She's like, diastasis wise, like this is awesome. Like it looks like you're ahead of the curve recovery wise from where I would expect for you to have had the babies. But like there are some things in terms of movement right now that I need to figure out. My breathing is kind of off. Rib cage can expand a lot in pregnancy. And so right now, like we kind of identified after watching me do the movements that I think progress isn't being made because I'm doing a lot of the movements just wrong. Like my form is off as a result of the way that I've kind of like carried the babies and done things that way. So we corrected some of that stuff. We have me on a plan to kind of figure that out so that I can actually start seeing some progress in the core area, and that is encouraging. So that's where I just was, but I still do have a babysitter for a little while this morning. So I'm honestly going to walk around a store that I like to go to with a coffee in my hand for a little bit because I can, and I'm going to make use of that. So I think I'm going to run to a home decor store and see if they've got any other cute like Easter things for Rosie's birthday, because that is also coming up really soon. So let's head on over. Time for a little mini haul. I grabbed this doormat for our front entry just because what we have out there is still a Christmas mat that says 'tis the season, and it's cute, but it's not spring. So I wanted to replace that with just one that is a little bit more neutral for the season. I had one very similar to this for years, but it had just seen a lot of wear and tear. So I replaced that today. This was $20, which I feel like was just a great price for that. And then I also grabbed a new soap dispenser for our guest bathroom. I liked the one that I had in there, but it did fall off of the counter and onto the ground when one of my kids was in there washing their hands. So I've needed to update that for a little bit now, and I thought that was cute. And then lastly, for Rosie's birthday party and for just general Easter decor moving forward, that's one of the reasons that I honestly am glad that I went with the Peter Rabbit theme, is because I can repurpose all of the decor from it year over year, as opposed to like the rodeo theme. I feel like it would have just been like a one and done, but I thought these were really cute taper holders. I'm kind of envisioning that I'll do a tablecloth and then a runner with like like tulips in the middle of the table or baby's breath. And then just to create some different like heights across the table, I thought it would be cute to line these around the florals and have my little beeswax tapers in there. So I thought those were super cute as well. Okay, I've actually been vlogging for another vlog all day today for a video that you guys I think will see last week. I think you probably have already seen the vlog that I am filming for today, but unrelated to that vlog, I just got back from the store because I wanted to go and grab some baby's breath for a little project that I've been wanting to do. I want to do a spring refresh on our front door. By refresh, I just mean like change out the mat and just update what is on the door. Literally up until like 2 weeks ago, we still had our Christmas wreath on the door. I was like, it's time to get rid of the wreath, but I am very picky when it comes to wreaths. I just have the hardest time like actually finding something and loving it. So that led me down a rabbit trail just on Pinterest of looking at different ideas of what we could do on our front door. And I saw the cutest idea. I'll put a photo here. Basically, someone put a little hanging basket on their front door that looked very similar to this one, albeit this one is quite a bit larger. And they filled it with flowers, which I thought was so beautiful. But I know that I'm not going to be able to like go and water this flower often, even change out the water often. And it also needs to be a type of flower for me that's going to be able to withstand the fact that the temperatures here are still pretty cold. So I thought baby's breath would be perfect because the petal is pretty tiny on this. Like even if it does shrivel up a little bit, it's still going to hold and maintain a lot of the integrity of what this already looks like. I also want a baby's breath because this basket is quite a bit larger than the example that I saw. I thrifted this, oh gosh, I don't even know how long ago now, a few months ago, and it was only $4.99. I did not know when I bought it what I was going to use it for, so I have been holding on to it for this moment, just looking for a use case for it. So we're gonna see if we can make this work. I'm hoping to be able to line the bottom of this basket with some garbage bag and duct tape so that I can put a little bit of water in the bottom just to kind of preserve the life of these. I'm obviously gonna have to cut them down before I fill it. So I'm gonna duct tape that around, and then I did also grab some command strips. Where did I put the command strips? I got these little hooks that I'm hoping I can just use to stick onto the door and then have them kind of loop in to the back here. We're gonna have to see if this works because I don't know if this is gonna be too heavy for this. We're gonna have to do a little bit of experimentation. I have not done like a little just fun craft like this in a while, so my fingers are crossed that I can make it work. Okay, so my hooks failed miserably. They were way too light for what I'm trying to hang here. Like, I don't know why I ever thought that this would be like 2 pounds or less. It's definitely much heavier than that. So I'm gonna need to source a bigger, thicker thing to hang this off of, either a command strip or like an actual thing that comes down the door. I will report back. I am currently getting ready to go on a little park date with a friend and all of our kids once my baby wakes up from her nap. I'm actually so excited that we have finally hit what feels like spring in Canada, at least where I live in Canada. This was the hardest winter, and I don't want to say of my life because I don't mean like circumstantially, I just mean like weather-wise. It was such a rough and just like heavy, dark, snowy winter, and I think that we got like the least relief from it than we have really had in years, in the sense that usually in the winter, there's like a couple of random days that you'll get where it will be a little bit more mild, or maybe you'll get a stretch of time where it's not snowing and you'll finally see grass for like a week or two in February or January or whatever. But this year where we live, it was literally snowing so heavily from November all the way up into the beginning of April. We set up like a swing set in the backyard for our kids, and we're like, this is happening, like the winter is finally over. And then all of a sudden we get hit with snow again for an entire week, and every single day it was snowing. So I'm just standing in the kitchen watching like the snow collect on the swing set that we just put up in the backyard, and the kids are like, we want to go outside, but every single time I took them, they were just like crying and saying they were cold. Honestly, I've never had such a hard time with winter before. I think the fact that I have young kids this year is like one of the biggest reasons why It was so much harder than it normally is. I am a homebody and I do honestly love to be inside. Like, that's not my problem. My problem is when it has been snowing for 5 months straight and I've got 3 little kids that are so full of energy and cannot stand to be outside for longer than like 10 minutes. So I am being a little bit dramatic right now, but honestly, I do feel like this was as close as I have ever gotten to struggling with some sort of like seasonal depression. I'm not saying that this is what that was or that I was like depressed by any means, but I was feeling very low at different points in this winter, just getting so frustrated with like the lack of outside time, the lack of vitamin D, and just like gray skies. And I think like I had such hope and such motivation and just like was feeling inspired again when it started to get a little bit better in March. But then when it started snowing again, I was just like, I had a very hard time. And I was kind of concerned, is my period coming? It wasn't. I honestly think it was just because it was like, here we go again. And now that the forecast is looking a little better as of next week, especially, like we're really in it now. The sun is going to be coming out, the skies are going to turn blue again, and we're going to have some green and some color back in our lives. So needless to say, I am trying to spend as much time as possible outside with all of the kids right now, making up for lost time. But before we leave, I am going to tame a little bit of this frizz that I am experiencing. I actually blow dried my hair straight this morning, and this is where we are at. Like, I have a lot of hair. It's very coarse. It has gotten frizzier and frizzier since I have had babies, not just like the hairs across the top, but also just kind of all over. And so the funny thing is that the brand IGK actually happened to hear about my frizzy hair woes, and I don't know how to feel about that. I think that I'm honestly just grateful that they reached out because they sent me their good behavior smoothing spray. And you guys, this is such a game changer. I'm gonna show you just like on my hair quick the difference that it makes to just get rid of some of this frizz and coarseness. If you've never heard of IGK's products before, they were created by a team of stylists that do hair for celebrities, and they wanted to create things that would meet the needs of everyday clients as well, like you and me. So Good Behavior is a heat activated anti-frizz spray that works with heat up to 450 degrees. It also provides 72 hours of frizz control. So to use it, I start by just sectioning my hair out first, and the formula is very lightweight. It's not greasy, it's not sticky, it doesn't make your hair feel heavy in any way, and it does work on all hair types as well. I also love the fact that it blocks humidity, so if in the summer months you find that your hair gets a little bit frizzier, this will help you out with that too. Last section. I don't know how to describe what the smell is, but it's almost like warm, woodsy. I just love the smell. It's all brushed through now, but again, it is heat activated, so I will show you guys what it looks like once I have applied a little bit of heat. So let's just compare the difference between the side that I have applied the smoothing spray to and then heat activated compared to the side that I have not yet. Like, you can visibly see the difference. Here is the after. Honestly, you can't make this type of result up. Like, my hair is so much shinier, so much more sleek. The frizz has just been tamed. I have salon quality results using this spray. So if any of you guys are also interested in taming your frizz, finding something that will work to just smooth your hair out, you should test out IGK's smoothing spray. I promise you, you will love it. I do have a discount with them, so all you have to do is use the code here on screen or head down to the description box, or you could also scan the QR code here to save. So thank you so much to IGK for finally helping me solve the frizzy hair woes. I am so excited that I have finally found something that works for me. Okay, so it has been a couple of days and I'm sitting down during quiet time now to do a little bit of crafting. I wouldn't say that I am like a crafty person, but with Brittany being gone, who is my like crafting extraordinaire friend, like she is the most crafty person I've ever met in my life. She oftentimes would be able to execute on some of these things that I would be like, oh, I want to do this for a birthday party, or I had this idea, and she'd just be like, yeah, like let's do it and bring it to life. With her being gone, I am now realizing like I have to learn how to be crafty. I have to actually pick up this skill. So there's a couple things that I want to make today with you guys for Rosie's birthday party while I have a little bit of time. And I know this is late because by the time that this goes up, Easter will have already happened, but I also want to put together some of the stuff that just came in for our kids' Easter baskets and kind of share a little bit around what I put into those, my philosophy around them. I only have 2 baskets here that I thrifted, both of these for our kids. I am going to do a little one for Rosie, but I'm just going to empty out a basket that we already have because I don't need to be like buying brand new baskets for this every year. But basically when it comes to Easter baskets, my 2 things are like, I want them to know that Easter is not about like the bunny and the chocolates and all of that stuff. The same way that we feel that way about Christmas with Santa, like the emphasis for us is not on like the Easter egg hunts and the Easter baskets that you're gonna get. Like we're still really focusing on Easter being about Jesus and the resurrection, but I also do want to give them something, and I want to give them something that emphasizes the real reason of Easter, and then also something that is not like garbage trash. I just don't want more stuff in my house that I'm gonna be wanting to declutter like within the week after my kids receiving it. So I try and get things that they can honestly like use up, or things that are going to benefit their play in some other type of way. So that being said, my main idea for their Easter baskets this year was to get this like Story of God book set that I found on Amazon. So it's like theology for young kids, but I think the author of them, yeah, is Jenny Allen. And there are a lot of books in this set. This was a little bit more of a splurge, but I've been looking at this for a bit now, and I thought that these were all just like good books to have in our library at home, but also I can scatter these between the baskets for each of the kids. They can each get a couple, Rosie can get one, and they're books that we're gonna use in our family forever. So to begin, great start, I Am Forever. So this is kind of talking about the story of heaven. Next up we have one called I Am With You, which shares a little bit more about the Holy Spirit and the church. Then we have I Am Rescuer, which talks about Christ, perfect for Easter. I Am Holy, which talks a little bit more about the fall. And then I Am Creator, which talks about the beginning of the earth and kind of what we think about how the world was made. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a great way to kind of fill in their baskets. And then after that, I have a couple of other smaller things. So for each of the 2 big kids, I have a little bubble wand. And then for my daughter, I also wanted to get her something that she could kind of use up and experience in a way. So I got this little piggy bank. She has been recently learning and talking a lot about generosity and saving money and giving coins away and what it looks like to kind of steward money well. So I thought this was a really great time to introduce something that she can actually use to save it, because I am honestly a little bit tired of seeing coins all over our house. She'll like have them out to play and be interacting with them, but then there's literally just quarters around my house, and that's a major choking hazard. So I got this little piggy bank that she can actually paint herself, and then we can just have it up on her dresser in her room so the coins are in a safer spot. And then this is gonna go in Rosie's Easter basket, just something for her to sit in the backyard and play with while we are all outside. I do have one other thing coming for Jude's Easter basket. He really likes to play with kinetic sand right now. That's like his big thing, is he's always wanting to play with sand. So I got him this really cheap kit. That is still not coming until tomorrow night, so I can't like fully assemble all of these in their entirety, but that is what I have for his like craft type thing. And then I did get them a little bit of chocolate. I know they're small children, but again, sugar in moderation here. It's not like they're gonna eat all of this in one day. So each of them will have 1 bag of mini eggs, and then I'll just divide these little Lindt chocolate eggs up in their baskets as well. I always got these at Easter time growing up. The Lindt chocolate is just like a core part of the experience. So Rosie is obviously not getting any chocolate or candy. She's gonna be getting these little like mum baby teether cookie type things as her treat. I just took a minute to flip through some of these, and they're so great. Just like very very practical if you're looking for resources to explain some of these concepts that are really challenging to explain to young kids. Like some great visualizations here about the cross that are not too over the top for young kids, talking about the resurrection and the joy that that brings us. But then in the back of all of the books, there's also just like really helpful guides in terms of like how to interact with your kids about this stuff. Like Dream With Me, it's like, what would you play with Jesus right now if he were a young boy and you knew him in that context? And again, you do get a lot of just like great theological content in these to go over with your kids. So I'm so excited about these. Okay, next thing that is up on my list of like DIY crafty mom things is actually getting this up on my door. I was so sad that the command strips that I bought last time did not work, so I got some that are designed for larger things. This is supposed to be able to hold 15 pounds on a hook, so between the two of these, I feel like this should actually stay up here this time. So I'm crossing my fingers. Let's see if I can get it to work. I'm also trying to do as many of these things as I can before my baby wakes up, so moment of truth. Oh my gosh. Okay. No, it's falling again. Oh, why? Why? This one is working. This one is not. You guys, I finally did it. I finally made it work. I ended up having to jerry rig it a little bit. I did end up using our like Christmas wreath hook and then just twine to tie it together. I tried to also use a command strip in the back to get it to stick a little bit more like flush to the door, but it just didn't work out. The door is metal and it's just way too cold to actually hold the command strip. So none of my command stripped ideas actually worked for this, and I'm like $30 out in command strips right now. But at this point, I'm just so glad that I finally was able to bring the vision to life. I think it looks so cute. So my pro tip now is if you want to do a little hanging basket for spring like I did, just don't use command strips. So next up on my crafting list is making some things for Rosie's birthday. So I want to make her a little party hat. I had looked on Etsy for one, but they were all like 40 bucks for the cute one. So I'm gonna just try and do that myself. I have that little blush paper there that I grabbed at Michael's, as well as this cream little like felt sheet. I might use this to do a one on the hat. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I also want to use it to do like a little bauble on the top of it. Are you spying on your birthday plans? And then the other thing that I wanted to do was, like I mentioned to you guys, turn this into kind of like a bunting that I can hang in the background around the table where I'm setting everything up for her birthday. So I'm gonna hot glue that to some twine. I was not expecting that she would wake up in time for all of this, so I'm gonna have to elevate all of this once I turn on the new hot glue gun, but we'll see how this turns out. I'm hoping that I can do all of the cutting on this properly. Like, this should not be rocket science, but again, I'm not super crafty, so let's see how it goes. You good? Yeah? Okay, I'm back with a template that I just printed out because, like I said, this is not my forte, and I just fear that I will do something wrong here and then not have the time to go back to Michael's to get another sheet of paper. So to save myself the stress, I'm gonna cut this birthday hat out first, lay it down, and then trace it out on my paper to make sure that this is like a one and done situation. What I am doing here is attempting to make like a little fluffy pom-pom for the top of her birthday hat. I've never seen this done before. I don't know if this is actually gonna work. I'm just doing what I think would work. So I'm taking these little strips, I'm gonna cut them off, and then I'm gonna try and hot glue the pieces together so that basically I can have them kind of like poof out from the top of the hat. I did look for like pom-poms and stuff like that at Michael's, but I didn't find anything that I loved. So again, I figured why not just try and make it myself. Okay, why have I not been hot gluing before today? This turned out so cute. I'm so happy with it. I also really love the way that this turned out. I'm planning, I think I'm like 90% sure on having this kind of across the front of her high chair over there as like the little backdrop, or I guess, what do you call it when it's in the front? The focal point of the cake smash kind of when she's in her high chair. So, I mean, it's not perfect, but I like that. I like that it looks like it was handmade by mom with love. So that I'm planning on hanging in front of the high chair. I actually just also laid out a bunch of her birthday stuff because I wanted to get a sense of what everything looks like before the day arrives and it's too late to like change most things. I am using a duvet cover for the tablecloth on our table. I had been looking at gingham specifically for this, but all of the tablecloths that I found were so expensive. And I actually also wanted a gingham bed set for my daughter. So this is actually a twin duvet cover from H&M. I think it looks so cute as a tablecloth, so I will literally just wash this after and put it on my daughter's bed. This was 30 bucks. And then over here I have set out my little tapers that I got at HomeSense the other day. I'm thinking that I'm probably gonna fill this with tulips. That's my game plan right now. I'm not sure what color. For the balloons that I'm gonna do up here, I'm thinking blue and white. I might do pink. I might also do yellow. I'm not 100% sure yet. I don't want it to be like too clashy with the colors, but I still also want it to feel like Peter Rabbit, but also like kind of girly, which is why I went with pink for her hat. So I'll have to decide what I do here, but my plan is to do tulips in that vase. I also just wanted to see what it all looked like with some of my other things. So this little like candy jar that I got from Hobby Lobby, and then also the napkins that I grabbed as well. I think this is why I'm kind of leaning towards doing blue, because with all of the table stuff set up, I think it would be cute if I had blue there and blue here for the balloons and also for the tulips. Outside of the little like glass bunnies that I have for her cake, and then I will also probably just set up over here. This is everything that I have for her party. And the last things that I need to do are order the balloons, I think some paper plates to use as well, and then flowers. I'm not going to be vlogging her actual party just because after my daughter's first birthday years ago now, I just decided that I wasn't going to vlog kids' birthday parties just because it's too much. It's too hard to be fully present and engaged and there on the day of for them in the way that I want to be as a mom. So I'm not going to vlog that, but I probably will have more clips and stuff of the way that everything actually turns out over on my Instagram. When this goes up, it will be happening the weekend kind of after it goes up. So if you want to see how everything does turn out, follow me over on Instagram, which is at Beth Grace Moore. But I am going to wrap this vlog up here. Thank you guys so much for spending a few spring days in the life with me. I hope that you guys enjoyed this vlog. I did want to remind you that if any of you are interested in checking out the smoothing spray from IGK, I highly recommend it. My hair has not been washed now in, I don't know, maybe 72 hours. I've taken showers, but I've tried to keep my hair just out of it because it is just nice to not have to do your hair so often. And it's still not frizzy. It still has been looking so smooth. So I've really been loving the smoothing spray. You guys can save on it by heading down to the link in my description box or scanning the QR code here and using the code BethGrace25 at checkout. So thank you so much to IGK for working with me on this video. And until my next video, I love you guys. I'm praying for you guys and I will see you soon. Bye.